get to that. Nuclear missiles. You know, Iran, does it make sense to let North Korea aim nuclear missiles at us?
No.
Does it make sense to let Iran develop nuclear missiles and aim them at Israel? No. Should the leader, you know, in the last month we had all these brave people. We had this young woman, Netta, and all these people face down the guns, face down the hatchets, face down the clubs, face down the uniformed militia of the Islamic dictatorship. And what did the leader of the free world do? Nothing. Right, did he stand up? Did he stand up with the freedom fighters? No! The way Ronald Reagan did with the Poles back in 1981. Did he stand with them? No. He just sat down. Barack Obama stayed seated during that problem in June. And then in Honduras, let me ask you a question. Should we be standing with the freedom fighters, with the people who want democracy and constitutional law? Yes. Or should we be standing with the Castro brothers and Hugo Chavez? Where did Obama stand? He stood with Chavez. Are you ashamed of these policies like I am? It makes me feel, do you remember 1979? Do you remember the gas lines? Do you remember the Soviets invading Afghanistan? Do you remember the hostages? Do you remember that piddly little Islamic dictatorship taking our hostages, invading our embassy, holding our U.S. Marines and our diplomats hostage for 2 years? Do you remember how Jimmy Carter and the left did nothing? I remember, and I feel the same way today. Here in Pennsylvania, Governor Rendell and the Democrats want to raise our personal income taxes 15%. They want to raise business taxes. They even want to raise cigarette taxes. They want to destroy 24,000 of our jobs. We should say no. We have to say no. The bottom line here is these liberal policies do not work. They make no sense, and they're just plain wrong. What should we do? What should we do? Vote them out! 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 That's right. We should vote them out. And you know what? The one thing I like to remember that gives me, we're a little bit annoyed. We have changes to make here on this Independence Day, but we still love America. We still love this great country. I love that we can be here protesting. It feels good to speak out. It feels good to oppose this power.
Yes.
And it makes me remember another time when times were really, really bleak in 1979 and then 1980, and that hockey team. Who here loves hockey? Well, we all know Fleury and Malkin and our great Pittsburgh Penguins. But remember those other guys? Remember Mike Eruzione? Remember Jim Craig? Remember the 1980 Olympic hockey team? Remember the Miracle team. When they beat the Soviet Union, when they were contending, when America was low and those young men brought us up, do you remember what our fans, what our people cheered in that arena in Lake Placid, New York? USA! 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 Let them hear it at Carnegie Mellon! Let them hear it at Penn! USA! 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 Thank you. Thank you again for spending the time, for spending your Independence Day morning here celebrating and standing for independence. And we have a great lineup of speakers this morning. I've taken enough of your time, but I enjoy it, though, I must admit. Thank you. And before I finish, I do want to bring up, hey, Henry and Claire, come here a second. This is Claire. She's 9. And this is Henry. He's 8. And I've got my wife and my other 3 kids over there. I've got 5 children. We've got 5. There's my wife. Diane, stand up, Diane. Say hello to Diane for a second. I'm so glad so many of you brought your children and grandchildren here this morning because we're talking about the future. We're talking about the future of our families and our country. And it's worth, I tell you what, these kids are worth fighting for. They're worth fighting for. So our first speaker today. Okay. All right, so we're going to, a little change of schedule, but now we're going to have a very, very special song. Leslie Weaver is going to come and sing I'm Proud to Be an American.
Things were gone I'd hoped for all my life, and I had to start again with just my family by my side. I thank my God above to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and you can't take that away. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died to gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much, Leslie Weaver. Our next speaker is Dr. Hans Lessman. He's a PhD. He's president of the Society for the Education of Physicians and Patients. Dr. Lessman has been a leader in the fight against socialized medicine as far back as Hillary Care. Remember Hillary Care? Oh, yeah. He's the president of the Society for the Education of Physicians and Patients and promotes the education of patients and healthcare professionals in order to facilitate unencumbered participation in the healthcare system. In other words, he fights against national health care. Professionally, Dr. Lessman is the president of the Vision Development Institute, where he offers particular care to those suffering from birth defects, mental retardation, and special needs children. Additionally, he has served on many boards at the local and state level, and been active with Special Olympics, the Lions Club,